Two engineers, same geometry, same mesh, same solver. Drag predictions differ by 40%. The difference? Boundary conditions, the inputs that define what problem you are actually solving. In 9 minutes, you will understand every major boundary condition type: inlet, outlet, wall, symmetry, and periodic. What each one does, when to use it, and the mistakes that silently corrupt your results. Later, I will show you the one outlet setting that causes most convergence failures. Boundary conditions are mathematical rules applied at every edge of your computational domain. They tell the solver what happens at the limits, where fluid enters, exits, and how surfaces behave. Without them, the Navier-Stokes equations have infinite solutions. Boundary conditions narrow that down to one. There are three mathematical types. Dirichlet, specify the value directly, like inlet velocity equals 5 meters per second. Neumann, specify the gradient, like zero heat flux for an insulated wall. And Robin, a combination of both, used for convective heat transfer. Think of it this way: the mesh is your exam paper, the solver is the student. Boundary conditions are the questions. Wrong questions, wrong answers. The inlet is where fluid enters your domain. Three main options. Velocity inlet, most common for incompressible flows. You prescribe the speed, direction, and turbulence. Mass flow inlet guarantees mass conservation, essential for systems with multiple inlets. Pressure inlet, you set total pressure and temperature. Standard for compressible flows and turbomachinery where inlet velocity depends on downstream conditions. But here is where people go wrong: the turbulence specification. At the inlet, you must define turbulence intensity and a length scale. For internal flows, intensity is 1 to 5%. For a clean wind tunnel, half a percent. Get this wrong, and your turbulence field is contaminated from the first cell, propagating errors into separation, mixing, and heat transfer predictions everywhere downstream. The outlet is where most simulations go wrong. Pressure outlet, the most common. You fix static pressure at the exit, typically zero gauge. The solver calculates the velocity to satisfy continuity. Critical rule: the outlet must be far enough downstream that the flow is developed. 10 to 20 hydraulic diameters for internal flows. Too close, and the fixed pressure sends errors upstream. The outflow condition assumes fully developed flow, zero gradient for all variables. Cannot handle backflow. And backflow is the biggest convergence killer in CFD. When flow re-enters at a pressure outlet, the solver guesses the incoming properties. Those guesses are wrong. Residuals spike. The fix: extend your domain until the outlet sits in calm, unidirectional flow. Walls are the most common boundary, and the default is no slip. Fluid velocity at the wall equals zero. This is physical law. From this, a boundary layer develops, a thin region where velocity increases from zero to free stream. And this is where the mesh matters most. Using wall functions, first cell needs y plus between 30 and 300. Resolving the boundary layer directly, y plus must be below 1. Get this wrong, and wall shear stress, drag, heat transfer, and separation predictions are all unreliable. Beyond no slip, you can specify moving walls for rotating machinery, slip walls for inviscid approximations, and thermal conditions: fixed temperature, fixed heat flux, or convective. Each tells the solver a different physical story about that surface. Symmetry boundaries are a powerful shortcut. If geometry and flow are symmetric, model half the domain and mirror the rest. The conditions are simple: zero normal velocity, zero normal gradient for all variables. An aircraft at zero angle of attack, model one wing. A pipe, model a quarter with two symmetry planes. Half the cells, half the memory, half the time. But here is the trap: symmetry only works when the flow is truly symmetric. Vortex shedding behind a cylinder is asymmetric. Flow separation on a car can be asymmetric. If you force symmetry on asymmetric physics, the result converges beautifully and is completely wrong. Periodic boundaries exploit repetition. Whatever exits one boundary enters the opposite with identical properties. A turbine with 60 identical blades. Model one passage 6 degrees and apply periodic conditions. Flow leaving the right face appears at the left. Two types. Translational, repeating a straight line patterns like tube rows in a heat exchanger. Rotational, turbomachinery passages around an axis. The savings are massive. A full turbine annulus at 300 million cells becomes 5 million. But periodicity assumes identical conditions in every passage. One damaged blade or a circumferential temperature variation breaks the assumption. You need the full model. For external compressible flows, aircraft, missiles, supersonic vehicles, there is the pressure far field. You define Mach number, static pressure, and temperature at the outer boundary. The solver uses Riemann invariants to determine whether information propagates inward or outward. At subsonic speeds, one wave travels inward, three outward. This physics based approach prevents spurious wave reflections that contaminate the solution. The boundary should sit 10 to 20 body lengths away. Place it closer, and reflected disturbances corrupt lift and drag. For transonic aircraft, that means a domain hundreds of meters across around a wing only meters long. 5 mistakes that ruin simulations. 1. Outlet too close. Your pressure outlet sits right after a bend. The fixed pressure corrupts upstream flow. Extend 10 to 20 diameters past the last feature. 2. Wrong inlet turbulence. Default 5% when the real flow is 0.5%. Every prediction downstream is contaminated. 3. Forcing symmetry on asymmetric flows. You have the domain but suppress vortex shedding. It converges beautifully and is completely wrong. 4. Y plus mismatch. Wall functions with y plus of 2. The function is not valid in the viscous sublayer. 5. Overconstraining. Velocity fixed at both inlet and outlet. The solver cannot satisfy continuity. Think about what is physically known at each boundary and specify only that. Choosing the right boundary condition comes down to one question. What do you physically know at this boundary? Know the velocity, velocity inlet. Know the pressure, pressure boundary. Know the mass flow inlet. Never specify what the solver should calculate. At outlets, pressure outlet is almost always safest. It handles backflow and does not assume developed flow. For walls, no slip unless you have a physical reason otherwise. And always check mass balance. Total mass in mass equal total mass out. If the imbalance exceeds 0.5%, investigate your boundaries before anything else. This is the most reliable diagnostic in CFD. Real example: airflow over a car for drag prediction. Inlet, velocity inlet, free stream speed, turbulence intensity 0.3%. Outlet, pressure outlet at 0 gauge, 20 car lengths downstream. Ground, a moving wall matching free stream speed, because in reality the ground moves relative to the car. Car surface, no slip. Top and sides, slip walls 5 car widths away to avoid blockage. If the car is symmetric, use a symmetry plane for steady runs. But for less or DS capturing unsteady wake dynamics, model the full geometry. Every choice matters. Change the ground from stationary to moving and drag shifts 5 to 8%. That is the power of boundary conditions. Boundary conditions are not solver settings. They are the physics of your problem. Specify only what you know. Place boundaries where conditions are well defined. Check mass balance. Match Y plus to your wall treatment. Never force false symmetry. Get these right and your simulation has a chance of being meaningful. If this helped, subscribe for more CFD fundamentals every week.